Join me as I dry swallow 2 capsules of ibuprofen. That wasn't as smooth as I was intending it to be. Hello, welcome to SquishiVision, where actually the whole purpose of this isn't to watch me dry swallow pain relief pills, but give my reaction to the latest episode of What If. An episode that has a title so long I can't fit it all in the title of this video. We're asked questions like, why did that car hit Doctor Strange's car in the first run through of Christine's death from the back for no reason? Like, was ever given an explanation for that? Apparently not. Or why Doctor Strange, an extremely talented, experienced, knowledgeable, skillful surgeon, immediate reaction to discovering that the love of his life has sustained potentially fatal injuries in a car crash, decided to immediately move her head forward, which any person with any degree of, well, not any degree, but sufficiently advanced knowledge of first aid would know you shouldn't do to him with suspected spinal injury. But, that's by the by. This episode was extremely dark. It's alright. I've got something stuck in my teeth, not ibuprofen. I think so anyway. Well, no, I can't chew it, so it won't be ibuprofen. A very dark episode. Not clear exactly how it ties into. So I don't think it. Well, again, so I'm getting ahead of myself. So this episode has a really, really, also, I didn't just take ibuprofen for the heck of it. I feel quite well, so bear with me as I kind of push myself through this, and occasionally squirm in pain. So yeah, we didn't actually ever see the moment that caused this splintered timeline, but presumably some point before the events of the episode, Christine agrees to go with Doctor Strange to the place he was going to, and because of that, she died instead of him losing his hands, showing his motivations for becoming Sorcerer Supreme and having a regret. So, ibuprofen come back up. So, we get what is frankly a very kind of dark sequence that I'm sure is meant to allude to the Dormammu scene, but it's Doctor Strange on the other end, as no matter how many times he tries to change things ever so slightly, Christine. Have I got a spot? Christine always dies, which, pushes him to do more desperate things. It wasn't as horror as I thought. It was good because I'm not. I like horror. I like the genre horror. I still don't have the heart for it. I get too nervous, especially when it's 11 o'clock. Oh, 11 o'clock. That was not staged. It's really good timing. And he basically ends up actually conquering and eating and absorbing all of these demons to get his power. And it doesn't actually work, as it turns out. After he absorbs the other strangers, the interesting thing where the Sorcerer Supreme is able to kind of combine 2 different timelines, or at least split off, anchor back, I guess, one of the Doctor Strangers. I may or may not just crap myself. We'll deal with that. You know what? That just. Okay. Well, the good news is I didn't defecate my pants. Bad news is, so I was okay. This is the part of the episode where I tangent my analysis of a popular part of media, and instead just tell you about my life. Because I have no friends, so who else am I going to tell? I was hiking in the Peak District over the weekend, where I ultimately, over 3 days, walked about 50 kilometers, carrying 20 kilograms on my back, with shoes which weren't quite the right shoes I should have worn. So as a result, I have very badly injured feet. Like skin's gone all ripped, and peeled off, which is not nice. And so in the process of walking over there to check my butt and my underwear, so I ended up mooning everyone outside my window, which you can't see because it's past this invisible line here. And I walked back and I ended up stepping on well, I stepped on this very large copy of the Oxford English Dictionary that I for some reason keep on my floor. And I stepped on it right on the injured bit, which isn't great. Not helping with the recovery. Where was I in this episode? Also, I like how I wasn't even by design, but I like how it's kind of matched, kind of scarily. But yeah, where was I with this episode? I can't remember. This is like the worst review of this show ever. I think I talked about this show for a duration of 2.5 minutes, and then the rest would just be about my life. So yeah, I mean, it kind of it was dark, not as dark as I thought it would be, but pretty dark in concept. It skips over a lot of the details, but I guess that's fine. It's only half an hour, and made it short. And also surprised that Benedict Cumberbatch came back, because all of the speculation and a lot of the kind of sources implied that he was probably one of the few actors who wasn't going to return to his role, but I like that actually wasn't ultimately the case, and he returned. And yeah, so interesting. He's one of the few characters that actually directly talk to the Watcher, despite the Watcher's pledge that he cannot, and will not interfere. I don't know if this is kind of a narrative arc for the character, narrative change for the character of the Watcher, and next episode, in future episodes, he actually become a bit more interfering, because talking is interfering. Although I suppose he might make exception to Doctor Strange. So if Doctor Strange knows about the Watcher, is able to perceive him, does that mean that Doctor Strange in live action is able to do the same? And that's something we're going to address in Doctor Strange Madness, the Multiverse of Madness, or even Spider-Man No Way Home. I wonder how much of what he experienced in this episode, or what we see of a version of him go through this episode. I mean, it's a completely different version of Doctor Strange, but how much of that actually, it gets alluded to in the other Doctor Strange, in live action Doctor Strange, because obviously he can see what you see kind of through timelines, Sorcerer Supreme's kind of ability to kind of perceive that. I also, I don't know if it's mostly funny, but it's kind of how I guess it's not funny. I guess it's kind of sad and depressing. But some of the deaths are really contrived. Yeah, this guy's gonna randomly walk into a pizza bar and just shoot her for no reason. But I guess that's kind of the point. No matter what you do, things are always gonna happen. The visuals are really good. The animated fight scene was, interesting to watch with its animated style. Not exciting, but interesting to watch at least. I think the same with the Captain Carter episode. I'm going to end really shortly because you can tell we're struggling to push through this. But we'll get there. I'm dedicated to my craft. Pain is art. I think someone probably said. Oh, I think the phrase maybe is to die for your art. I'm not going to do that here. I don't think so anyway. I can't tell if I need to poo or not. Okay, yeah. Half of this episode has been me talking about this episode, and half of this, live stream has been me talking about this episode, and the other half has been me talking about my bowel movements. I talk about my bowel movements with frequency on the show on this live stream, which you shouldn't be surprised by. Also, maybe I shouldn't be eating kind of like this. I don't want to end up immediately ejecting it from my rear orifice. Anyway, I think the ibuprofen hit me the wrong way. This is not one of the yeah. Whoa. Okay. Oof. Yeah, so it's interesting to see if there's any kind of ramifications from this going forward. Obviously, ends up being a bit of self-contained, but especially for the watcher, it's interesting to see with the scale of how far Doctor Strange can ultimately go with his power. And again, like it's very dark. Like it deals like the first two kind of dealt with positive ramifications of change. These two deal with negative ramifications of change, and that's like tragic death, which is always tragic. Right, thanks for watching. I'm gonna go deal with my body. I was gonna meant to do the half an hour of work. I don't think I'm gonna do that today. Cry. So yeah, I need to catch up on Lower Decks. So you're probably gonna see me before Sunday, but that depends on when I have time to do that. So thanks for watching. See you next time, unless I end up dying on the floor in a puddle of my own. You know what?